So this worksheet has the directions for the research paper. I'm just going to go over them with you, and then of course if you have any questions, please email me. So the prompt is stated here, and essentially the question is, what factors influence good people to make bad decisions? So essentially the key word here is the factors. Okay, the paper is about the factors, not about the people, but it's about the factors. So we're trying to identify 3 factors that can influence good people to make bad decisions. So you're going to have to defend their thesis using 3 clearly articulated data-driven supporting arguments. The key word here is data-driven. All of your quotes will have numbers, statistics, and data in them. So you want to make sure that whatever quotes you're using has data in it. All right, so here it's a 4-step process. Step 1, you want to identify the 3 groups of people you believe to be moral by society standards. So the first thing you want to do when you're problem solving this is try to come up with 3 different groups that you think are moral people. And essentially you kind of have to ask yourself, what groups of people give back to society, provide something important to society? That's going to help you come up with your groups of people. Then you have step 2, which is determine if there's a specific type of crime that they're vulnerable to. So if you want to talk about a specific group, ask yourself, when have I seen them in the news doing something negative? And then you're going to see what type of crimes they are. Then for step 3, you're going to find data to support that this group of people commit this type of crime. So if you think a specific group commits a certain type of crime, you have to research that and see whether or not there's actual data to support that. And then step 4, you're going to analyze and identify the factor that influenced this type of people to commit this type of crime. So essentially there's all different types of moral groups. However, they tend to be vulnerable to specific types of crimes or specific type of unethical behavior. So try to figure out what these specific moral groups lend themselves to, what type of negative behavior lend themselves to them. So things to consider. Your argument should not be an example of one person. So the mistakes that people have made is that they use a statistic or they use a quote about one person who did something wrong. So that's bad. So your argument should not be an example. So for example, Hitler was greedy. It really needs to be based on research that can be supported by data. And you must first establish that the group of people are in fact good people. So here's an example. So let's talk about police officers. People consider police officers to be morally good people because they spend their lives defending and protecting people of society, people in their society. So a bad example of a quote would be, a police officer in Florida accepted money from a drug lord because he was greedy. This is a bad example because it's only one person. You're not showing that police officers in general are vulnerable to this. Okay, so you want to make sure that when you're talking about police officers that you're talking about them holistically. So what types of crimes or immoral behavior do police officers tend to make? So a good example would be a quote that shows this. So research shows that 45% of police officers illegally accept bribes because they're greedy. So this is great. This is showing that police officers, a large number of police officers, are committing the same crime. Okay, so then you want to try to analyze, what is it about being a police officer that makes them vulnerable to this type of crime? So you're going to need data to prove that these people commit these specific crimes, which means you must have numbers in your in-text citation. If you put a quote in your paper that doesn't have numbers, you're wrong. Okay, so you need to have numbers in your in-text citation. And again, this paper is about the factors that influence, not the people. So don't say group A, group B, group C commit crimes. What you want to say is these factors, A, B, and C, influence good people to make bad decisions. Okay, so as part of your pre-writing, you're going to submit a brainstorming activity, a completed source data, 3 citation note sheets, and an outline. I've put videos up to show you how to work through these assignments. The outline's pretty self-explanatory, but these 3 activities have a video that kind of show you what I'm expecting from you. The paper is 25% of the second quarter grade, and it's going to be it's going to be graded using the PSSA rubric, which assesses focus, content, organization, style, and conventions. When writing your paper, you want to follow the Mla format. It's going to be a minimum of 5 paragraphs. You're going to have your intro and then a body paragraph for each topic. It'll be approximately 3 pages in length, including your works cited page. The page must be typed double space using 12-point font, standard 1-inch margins, and only use Times New Roman font. That's what the font of this worksheet is in. And again, properly use Mla format for the in-text citation, the works cited page. You must have a title page, not a title page, I'm sorry. You must have a title for your paper that indicates topic. You do not need a title page. And when you are doing your research, you're going to consult 5 resources in your paper. So your data table is going to have 5 sources. However, you only have to cite 3 sources in your paper, meaning you're only going to have 3 sources on your works cited. Acceptable sources that you can use, the library databases, periodicals, and any type of electronic books. Those are acceptable resources. What is not acceptable is any type of website. You cannot use a .com, a .edu, or a .gov for this paper. It has to be papers that were edited. It has to be papers that were published, that were fact-checked. Okay, so you need to have real articles from the school's databases. Okay, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, please email me, and good luck with everything.